in Webscape. The tech world has a pretty cool way of shaking off the New Year blues. Every January, it hops on a plane, or any other form of transport it has to hand, and jets off to the massive Consumer Electronics Show, all the way across the United States in Las Vegas. It is a place that promises so much, a place that can make your dreams come true.
This town is a lonely town.
And CES is the show where the big players come to make a big splash and shake the place up a bit. Launch the right product at the right time, and they certainly stand to win big. But in order to do that, you've got to take some big risks. And in recent years, we've certainly seen some massive wins and huge losses. Sometimes these guys bet against each other, gambling huge amounts that their product will beat their rivals. As with the war between Blu-ray and HD DVD, there's usually only one winner. More recently, many TV manufacturers have decided to have a little flutter on 3D, which has turned out to be a bit of a long shot. And some guys just seem to have all the luck. Apple bet the lot on music, then smartphones, and then tablets. And it certainly seems to be on a winning streak, for now at least. So, whose numbers are coming up this year? Well, the answers are all in here, the Las Vegas Convention Center, home of CES. Time to hit the show floor. Throughout the craziness of the many halls, there's something that you're always guaranteed to see here. Lots and lots of screens. After a couple of years of 3D madness, manufacturers have now found something new to shout about. 4K. Plenty of 4K screens here this year, all boasting 4 times the resolution of standard, boring old high definition. Every year, OLED displays get bigger and cheaper. Billed as better than plasma and LCD, they're still too pricey for anyone but the high rollers. One other cool OLED feature, they're flexible, and that means they're braggable. Here's the world's first curved OLED screen from Samsung, and here's the world's other first curved OLED screen from LG. Don't fancy a screen at all? Then how about this most impressive of short-throw laser projectors, which is projecting a 100-inch image from just a few inches away? So, what's the one to watch? Let's ask a player, like Tim Stevens. Okay, Tim, let's clear up one thing first of all. 3D. Bit of a non-starter, right?
Right. Television manufacturers really needed an excuse for people to buy a new TV. Everybody ran out and bought HD TVs, but they needed to buy new TVs again to keep the market growing. The thought was that 3D would be the answer, but it didn't turn out that way. People really weren't interested in making that investment again just for the 3D experience at home.
And so now along comes 4K. Lots of talk about this technology this year. Do we think it's still a little bit too early? This is just the kind of opening gambit, I guess.
It certainly feels that way. What we've got is a technology and some hardware that's presenting some beautiful imagery, but the problem is there's really no way to get that imagery at home. You've got 4 times the resolution of a traditional 1080p HD TV, and the pictures look beautiful. But in order to see that at home, what you need is television channels that can produce that, or even Blu-ray discs or something like that can give you 4K imagery. And nothing exists right now that can give you that content. And it could be years before we actually see this content easily available.
So for 2013, the display that's going to win biggest, where are you putting your chips?
I'd have to say for 2013 it will be OLED displays. OLEDs are beautiful quality, they look fantastic, they're very expensive, and they're going to be probably greater than $10,000 here in the US for the duration of 2013. And hopefully in 2014 we'll see those costs drop to the point where people with bit more reasonable budgets, who aren't perhaps gambling quite so much, will be able to get them in their own living rooms too.
You shouldn't let gambling control your life. That's the job of your smartphone. These things really are becoming the center of everything. They can control your TV, either replacing the simple directional menu navigation buttons, or by being the conduit between internet content and an otherwise dumb screen. They can control your entire house too. Lots of home automation used to involve bulky controllers, but these days, turning on your lights, putting down your blinds, locking your doors and setting the alarm can all be done with a tap on your smartphone or tab. Apps have even made it into your plant pot. Parrot's Flower Power monitors the vital signs of your azaleas, and a short Bluetooth burst from the sensing probe delivers everything you need to know to keep them in rude health. But are the dice loaded in anyone's favour? Stuart Miles knows. Stuart, it seems pretty much everything here comes with its own app now. I mean, the smartphone, the tablet is becoming the centre of the controller of everything, isn't it?
Yes, and it's very easy to take a manufacturer, build a piece of hardware, and then add an app. And whether that app is for controlling it or making sure that it has the latest updates, it just makes a lot of sense for them.
Now, there are, of course, different smartphone operating systems out there, but it does seem to be just a two-horse race these days, Android and the Apple iOS. What's happened to Windows Phone 8 and RIM and BlackBerry?
So at the moment, there's a lot of duality. You have this sense of an iOS app is the one that you build for, and an Android app is the one you either build for straight away or a slight delay. And you're starting to see that with Windows Phone 8 at the moment, where you say, when's it coming? Well, it's on the roadmap, but we're not sure just yet. I think the core value here, the core reason is that there are a lot of iOS devices out there, a lot of iPhones, a lot of iPads, and there are a lot of Android devices. There aren't many Windows Phone 8 devices, and at the moment there's no BlackBerry 10 devices at all.
Before you place your bets, a seasoned gambler, like your good self, may like to study the form. And these days, there's more of that than ever. Devices of every shape and size. Phones so big, they're almost tablets. 6.5 inches? Seriously? Tablets so big, they're almost tables. 27 inches. Oh, come on, that is a table, really, isn't it? Windows 8's touch-friendly side continues to inspire the new breed of touchscreen laptops with those hideaway keyboards. And the price of those once expensive touch screens is coming down too. And if you like the idea of having many documents open at once, but you prefer something a bit more old school, Plastic Logic wants to bring back paper. Kind of. You can move data between the sheets by touching these flexible e-paper tablets together, maybe to attach a photo to an email before sending. And could this be the shape of your next games machine? A surprise announcement from chipmaker Nvidia. A handheld gaming device called Project Shield with a flip-up screen powered by the Android mobile operating system. So, who has form? Nate Langson's our cool customer who likes to play his cards close to his chest. Ooh, isn't that a straight flush? Nate, there are loads of new Windows 8 form factor notebooks, netbooks, tablets with detachable keyboards. Do you think Microsoft has achieved what it set out to do, which is basically take back control of portable computing, personal computing market?
It's certainly trying. I still think it's an unusual proposition for a lot of customers to have a device that might be a thick tablet most of the time and then a keyboard can pop out of the bottom. I still think it's a little bit of a kind of a niche proposition in a lot of people's minds, particularly as everyone's getting so used to the idea of just a tablet and an on-screen keyboard.
Okay, your $1 million question. Where are you placing your chips? Which form factor is going to win 2013?
I have to be really boring, and I think that the traditional tablet touchscreen only form factor is going to still win over the next 12 months. It's dull, but it's probably true.
Sometimes you have to go with a favourite. Some of the runners and riders to keep your eye on this year. And here's another really interesting theme of the moment. This used to be Microsoft's booth, and after many years of being at CES, Microsoft's not here this year. And look who's taken over one of the most prominent stands at the show. Not one of the most famous tech names, but Hisense, a Chinese brand. Possibly the shape of things to come. Okay, time now to take a look at some of the other big tech stories of the week. Microsoft's big stand may have been missing, but the big man himself did make an appearance. CEO Steve Ballmer invaded the stage during telecoms giant Qualcomm's keynote speech. His excuse? To boast about Microsoft's new range of Windows 8 mobile devices and the growth of the Windows App Store.
10,000 applications were added in the last month alone.
And if you're wondering about Steve's questionable timing, the new devices use Qualcomm's chips. Away from the show, the French government is exploring ways of charging internet giants such as Amazon, Google and Apple for using large amounts of bandwidth. French Digital Economy Minister Fleur Pellerin says the on-demand TV services from these companies create an increasing demand on the infrastructure and therefore they should pay for its improvement. Google, however, argues it already pays billions of euros a year and provides a major incentive for people to sign up to high-speed services in the first place. A student in Texas who opposes the use of radio frequency ID badges in her school has lost a federal court appeal. The student originally refused to wear the badges on religious grounds, calling them the mark of the beast. The school uses the RFID tags to track attendance. The ruling means she will now have to choose to wear the badge or to transfer to a different school. And finally, if you thought it was fiddly to play games on your smartphone, check this out. The world's smallest arcade machine. Mark Slavinsky, a computer engineer from Canada, took 6 months to design and build the diminutive device. And now it's been immortalized in the Guinness World Records Gaming Edition. And still to come from Click at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, more cool tech from the show floor and our pick of the best sites and apps in Webscape.
It's 2 years since the revolution in Tunisia ousted Zain al-Abidin bin Ali and kick-started Arab uprisings that swept across this region. Now, unemployment and corruption were at the heart of those protests. But despite elections and a new government, has anything really changed to allow business and the economy to thrive? Find out more here on BBC World News.
He's 20 years older than me, so he has 20 years more of experience to share.
So you think the last 2 decades were about buying from the Chinese and the next 2 decades may be about selling to the Chinese?
It's a huge opportunity. I think it's the biggest market, the most attractive market right now.
How bad is your journey to work? Stay tuned as I run the gauntlet of the Paris morning rush hour, comparing the drive here with the drive to work in Lagos. Join me, Christian Fraser, for Gridlocked World, a special series here on BBC World News.
Welcome back to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. You know, there are over 2,500 companies here at CES. So how do you get your new gadget to stand out from the crowd? Well, one solution is to get yourself a celeb. 50 Cent's launched some headphones, haven't you, sir?
Yes, I have.
Will.i.am, you have an iPhone camera accessory.
Yes, I do.
Lemmy's launched some headphones, haven't you, sir?
Yes, I have, yes.
Some things, however, don't need celebrity endorsement. Here are a few that caught our eye.
Here's a pretty basic phone where the battery is the star, so much so that they've actually put it through the screen. It's the only phone in the world that runs on a AA battery, and they tell me that this can last up to 15 years, this particular battery. That's obviously if the phone is turned off. It's got a 30-day standby time and a 10-hour talk time. It uses the GSM network, which allows you to make a free emergency call to the emergency services, which is this useful button here, without the use of a SIM card inside. And the idea is you stick it in your backpack when you go roaming or pop it in the glove compartment of your car and just really use it when needed. Each of the main buttons can store a number, so only 10 numbers inside this phone. And this year, they've released an app which will allow you to track this phone by the triangulation of the cellular network. So it gives you a rough idea of where the person is who's carrying it. Now, given the fact the battery is supposed to last about 15 years and that 2G networks are being switched off, it may well be that this phone outlasts the phone networks that support it.
My mum always told me that if I ate too fast, it would be bad for me, and apparently she was right. You can put on weight, develop digestive problems, and even acid reflux, and trust me, that's not nice. Well, here at CES, we've found what's being billed as the perfect